So I've got a pan here over medium heat, and I'm just adding in a little bit more oil, just a little bit of olive oil. That's gonna help kind of get things browning. And then I have got 3 Italian sausages here. I've split them open and removed that casing, because that's just basically ground meat, ground pork, that someone else has seasoned. I'm going spicy Italian, but if you don't like spice, feel free to do mild Italian. That would be beautiful. That fennel in there would be great. But we're gonna add those sausages right into the pan, and you just wanna break it up a little bit, just to start it going. This is a great hack, as opposed to having to buy ground pork or ground beef and all of those spices, that fennel, that chili, everything like that. Someone else has done all that work. We're just adding sausage into a pan. Dream come true. I'm gonna cook that down until it's nice and golden brown, just giving it a stir every once in a while until it's nice and broken up. While that gets to cooking though, we're gonna talk cheese. And this is the only cheese that you really have to do anything to for this recipe. You need 2.5 cups of grated mozzarella cheese. You could also just buy a bag of pre-grated mozzarella cheese. Honestly, they have been on sale at the grocery store lately, and my freezer is full. Fun fact, if you buy grated cheese, chuck it in your freezer, it lasts perfectly. It'll work well, it'll still melt up really nicely, and it holds, which is a total dream. But I'm gonna grate up just about 2.5 cups of this mozzarella. Now, when you're making a lasagna, you wanna use low moisture mozzarella. This is also what I call pizza mozzarella, the stuff that you eat like a cube of, not fresh mozzarella. That has too much liquid in it and it'd get kind of soupy, and we don't want soupy. Any sort of brick mozzarella will work. You don't have to buy the fancy one that comes in a ball. The one that's just in the regular cheese section, kind of near where you get the eggs, that's a good one too. Gotta love it. All right, that is looking beautiful. I'm gonna go check on that sausage now. Oh, also, just a fun tip, when you're using a grater, this is your snack, because that's just safe cooking. You don't wanna get your knuckles anywhere near this, so you keep that to yourself. No one will know. That's your little cheese snack. All right, now heading back over to this sausage. This is looking good, but we've got a swap here that's already done. You just wanna cook it down until it renders out that fat and is cooked all the way through. Once you get there, you're gonna have a nice crumbled ground meat. Again, the spices are already in there. This is literally just sausage, and it already smells delicious in here. But into there, we're gonna make that classic meat sauce that goes in a lasagna. So you need about 2.5 to 3 cups of tomato sauce. Any type of tomato sauce you've got hanging around in your pantry. You can even also just use a can of crushed tomatoes, which, to be honest, is what I usually do, because that's usually what I have hanging around. I'm gonna add that right on into the pan with that sausage. And then this is my trick to trick everyone into thinking you made homemade pasta sauce and homemade lasagna, is I wanna use some store-bought pesto. I always buy my store-bought pesto at like those bulk stores, that one where you can get like 1,000 liters of pesto for like $10. And what I typically do is I have some in my fridge to use handy dandy, and then I freeze the rest in an ice cube tray. That way, all you need to do is pop some ice cubes of pesto right into here. Ooh, or bags. Did someone say bags? Also works perfectly. In a zip top bag, pop it in, break off a piece, pop it in there, and you're good to go. Now, even if you are using just canned tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, put a little bit of pesto in there, and it's gonna make it taste like you made your own homemade sauce. I'm going in with about 2 tablespoons of that pesto. That, again, is a great flavor shortcut. That's got garlic in there, it's got basil, it's got other herbs, we've got a little bit of pine nuts, so it's gonna add a little bit of creamy nuttiness into here. And already, this looks like a rich and delicious meat sauce. All right, that is it for the sauce. We are almost ready to go. We're gonna head on over here and start assembling this lasagna. So we've got the meat sauce, and then we've got the star of the show, spinach and cheese ravioli. Because if you think about it, what is a lasagna other than layers of thin pasta stuffed with a little bit of ricotta, sometimes some spinach in there? So this is gonna work perfectly as a little bit of a dupe. So the first thing we wanna do is get some of that beautiful sauce, about 1/3 of it, and pop it into a greased casserole dish. Really any size. You could also do this in a square cake pan. Just about 1/3 of that down on the bottom. That's gonna give the moisture we need to actually cook that pasta, because we're not cooking this first and then putting it in the oven. It's all just gonna get layered in beautifully. So once we have that layer of that sauce, I'm just gonna top it with these little cheese raviolis. I'm not gonna lie to you, when we first moved into our house, we were renovating the kitchen, and we lived out of our slow cooker. Every meal we ate was in the slow cooker. We made basically this in our slow cooker and then had that for like a day. Basically all we ate was lasagna that day. Was I mad about it? No. It was delicious. But that's what happens when you don't have access to a kitchen and you are cooking in your spare bedroom. It's a good thing. All right, so a nice little layer of that ravioli, and you want to use one of the big packs, the one that's around 700 grams, maybe 800 grams. Once that's on there, we're going to go on with a little bit of this cheese. So just about a cup of that cheese goes right over top. That's going to melt, help stick everything together, give you a nice layer of those noodles. Then we're going to go on with another third of that sauce. Literally in this amount of time, you are making an easy breezy lasagna. Then we're gonna go on with more of that ravioli. Basically, you want about 2 layers of the ravioli to about 3 layers of that sauce. You wanna make sure it's in an even-ish layer, but honestly, I'm not mad if I get an extra little pocket of cheese here and there. So just pop that in. This is super simple too. You can make this in advance, pop it in your fridge, and you are good to go. Now I'm gonna go on to there with the rest of that sauce, just to give that extra layer. Beautiful, beautiful. Also, this is the perfect sized casserole. We did not know before. We were like, is it gonna fit? And it fits perfectly. All right, spread that out. And you wanna make sure that sauce touches most of those noodles. That's gonna give you a little bit of moisture on there. Then we're gonna top off with the rest of that cheese. So it's about 1.5 cups of that mozzarella. If you wanted to here, you could add on some Parmesan or Reggiano. That would be beautiful. Fancy it up a little bit, because this is, fun fact, not a fancy lasagna. But it is gonna be delicious. All right, now onto there, we do wanna seal in some humidity. Since we are cooking basically that pasta in the oven, we wanna seal it in. So what I'm gonna do is get a little bit of aluminum foil, but what I don't want is all that cheese to stick to this aluminum foil, because that's just a waste of cheese, and we don't do that in my kitchen. So get your aluminum foil, and then on the dull side, give that a spray with a little bit of non-stick cooking spray. The dull side of aluminum foil is a little less sticky than the shiny side, so already you're off to a good start. A little bit more of that non-stick cooking spray or a little oil. Pop that on top to cover, and make sure you seal it nicely, because again, that's gonna seal in that moisture, holding everything in. Now, up to this point, you can pop this in the fridge, let it sit in there for a couple days if you want to get ahead, but I'm going to pop this straight into a 400-degree oven for 30 minutes. Once it's been cooking for 30 minutes, uncover it, remove that foil, and let it go for about another 10 to 15, just until the top is beautiful and golden brown. When it is done, it looks exactly like a lasagna. Okay, look at this, right? Are you kidding me? Like, cheesy, absolutely beautiful. Now, if you want, I would let this sit for a few minutes just so it firms up, so you can actually cut those slices, or you can just be sneaky and go in and steal a little piece of that delicious pasta with that cheesy, cheesy goodness. You get the ricotta in there, you get that stringy mozzarella. I'm very excited. Okay, cool. Oh, it's hot. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.